What's up, chums? Sharky here, and welcome back to the Shark Bites podcast.
Hi.
I'm so tired today.
Same.
I've been trying these new, I don't want to call them pills, because they're not really a pill. It's kind of like a vitamin thing. I don't know. But they're technically for weight loss, but that's not what I'm using them for. They have some kind of effect on ADHD, so I'm doing an experiment.
Fun.
It's been interesting. Like, these have a lot of caffeine in them, and it makes me feel weird. I don't advise experimenting with vitamins, just a disclaimer.
Luckily, I don't plan on it.
For anyone listening. Also, I kind of think diet pills or like diet vitamins of any kind are a scam anyway.
Yeah,
But
I kind of think they are too.
I'm just trying to find something to help me stay awake and focus at work.
You're welcome.
Lovely.
You can thank the boba.
How have you been this week?
It has been 110 before heat index here.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I'm dying.
I've been dead this whole time.
I knew it.
I died at the beginning of summer.
Nah.
It
It's not
literally
a
went
competition.
it literally went from like 30 degrees here to like 106 like the next day. Like summer, ding.
It's like the earth just woke up and was like, oh shit, it's summer. Make it hot.
We gotta change the dial to the next season.
If summer's just when you forget that you left the oven on.
The only months that get like actually cold in Texas are like maybe January and February. That's it. The rest is just summer, pretty much.
I could go for a good eternal winter.
I just don't want to deal with snow. I don't miss that at all.
That's the best part.
Like, the freeze that we had in February was hard here, because, like,
Well, Texans aren't equipped for any type of cold.
they're really not. And I'm like, should we be, though, just in the off chance that happens again?
Considering the past, 2 years?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, 'cause they don't have salt, they don't have plows, they don't got any of that stuff. But we're not here to complain
You
about the
move
weather.
down there and you just start causing them to have all this winter weather.
I brought it with me. My parents literally had to order road salt from Illinois because they don't sell it here. How
Well,
ridiculous.
when we get close to winter, I'll mail you some.
Yeah, mail me some salt.
It'll be your Christmas gift.
Sure. No joke though, I literally could not even get down my stairs because I'm on the second floor at my apartment. So, like, I couldn't leave because I couldn't get down the stairs without losing my shit. Like, falling. Because it was just all iced over.
It's literally that one episode of King of the Hill.
Which one?
The one where they're barbecuing and they see
Oh.
the one snowflake and everyone flips.
It literally is like that, though. It's so funny. Anyway, we're not here to complain about the weather. Today's topic is video games. Do you want to go
I thought
first
I,
this time?
I, I
Just,
thought I was about to sneeze.
I guess, like
Oh,
anything having to do with video games. Like, when did you get started playing video games? What games you like?
what games I like? Well, I mostly play Phasmophobia anymore.
Hmm.
Uh, Kingdom Hearts is still one of my favorites, though.
What was the first video game you ever played?
Oh man, I was not even 10 years old, and I think it was a Sega that my parents had got me
Hmm.
at a yard sale. And I would play Pac Man and I would play Sonic.
Yeah.
I would just sit there for hours playing Sonic.
I think my first game that I ever like remember playing was either Super Mario Bros, the first one,
Hmm.
or Legend of Zelda, like with the gold cartridge for the NES.
Oh, wow.
That was the first one I ever played because my dad had an NES and he showed me how to play it. I was probably like 7.
Hmm. I think my next like game console I had was about the same time I had a GameCube and I
Yeah,
had
I love those.
a Game Boy.
Yeah, me too.
And I had that Powerpuff Girls game.
I think my
Never beat it. I don't even think I ever got past the second level.
the GameCube was the first console that was actually mine because my dad had the NES, but my grandma bought me a GameCube and a Game Boy. I had like the old Advance, the purple one that's like wide.
I had a pink one. Like, it was kinda
Nice.
clear.
Mm-hmm.
And, now what was, like, your go-to game, like, for your Game Boy? Like, you're gonna be in the car or the doctor's office, what was that one game you had to take with you if you could take that with you?
That's a good question. So, I used to have Pokemon Blue, but before I even got into Pokemon, um, I actually really like the Brother Bear game.
There
I
was
don't
a Brother Bear game?
Yeah, there was a Game Boy Advance Brother Bear game that I always took with me and I loved that game. I still love that game.
Huh.
It's basically like it follows the plot of the movie, the first one,
Mhm.
and it's you kind of just like make your way through the levels and like you can go back and play them if you miss stuff. There's like collectibles and stuff.
Hmm.
It's fun.
Mine was always Kirby Nightmare and Dreamland. I
I
still
feel
go
like
back and play that.
I think I played that once on my friend's Game Boy.
That was one of the first games and a part of the few games I have actually beaten.
Yeah, Game Boy games were hard back in the day. Like, I hardly ever beat them. You just kept playing them or starting over.
Mostly because a lot of them didn't even have a save mechanic.
That is true, and that's
You,
something
like,
that
had to keep
really
that
irritates
scrap of
me.
paper or that notebook with your code wrote down to be able to get back to that level.
There were two games that my siblings had. One was Polly Pocket. It was like a water park Polly Pocket game, and then they also had Hello Kitty. That it was like a not like a cooking game, but like I think it was like Hello Kitty Party Planner or something like that.
Hmm.
Neither of those games had save mechanics, so you had a password you have to remember.
Those were the worst. I have to remember those.
Yeah,
Because
I
you
hate
always
those.
lost the notebook or the paper it was on when you went back to the game.
Yeah, the games were fun though. I liked those.
My, I had like, so at Christmas, I would always get like this little, you know, like how you could get like those little tiny tins and it would have like either like stupid little makeup or it'd be like some little treats in it that you,
Mhm.
back when we were younger.
Mhm.
I still have one of those and it has all my Game Boy games in it. And
Nice.
I would carry that with me and I'd play my games everywhere.
I think after the Pokemon games for Game Boy Advance came out, like Leaf Green and Fire Red, those were my favorite after. I would
Now,
play those all the time.
here's the funny thing. I never played any Pokemon games till me and my husband had moved in together.
They were kind of expensive when they came out.
But my parents, like, they knew I loved Pokemon, but they knew I wasn't the type of kid that'd be able to sit down and play it, or they just didn't want to hear about it more.
Yeah. I
Now, hmm,
I got into the cards and the TV show first. And when I found out there was a Pokemon game, I was like, "Oh my god, I have to play this."
I feel like part of me growing up, like, I didn't like, I was just like slightly aware, like, yes, there is a Pokemon game, but never like it was almost like I wasn't fully conscious of, like, there's a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Now, you had a GameCube?
Yes, and one of the first games I ever played on it was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Same.
I love that game.
The I actually still have yet to beat that game because I could never get past, like, the villain side because of some stupid level with Rouge, I think.
Yeah, it was challenging. Like as a kid, it was hard to beat. I still haven't like beaten all the challenges and like the extra stuff yet, and it's been
One of
weird.
my favorites was Sonic DX.
Yeah, I like that one too. That one was the one before that one.
I would just sit and play the shit out of that game.
Shadow's my favorite character from
Couldn't
the second
couldn't
one.
tell.
I love him. I used to pretend to be him when I was a kid.
Nice.
I wanted to be all the boy characters, you know.
I feel that. I mean, Tails was my favorite.
Yeah.
Still is.
I had a friend of mine, like we were best friends, and she always wanted to be Sonic, and I'd be Shadow. It was fun.
Now, did you ever play Sonic Heroes?
Yes, that's another one of my favorite ones.
Okay, can I don't how did you get pretty far in the game?
I've beaten it.
How bullshit is the jungle level when you're having to escape the crocodile that's coming at you and you're having to jump the vines
Oh, yeah.
towards you?
I've died quite a few times during that
For
part.
some reason, I think it was Team Sonic I could beat it, but Team
Team
Shadow's
Dark.
team,
Yeah, Team Dark
yeah,
was hard.
I could not and I did everything exactly the same. I jumped when I was supposed to. I even went back and played it a few years ago, I think, and I still couldn't. I was like, "This is jank."
There was also a Team Chaotix level where you had to find like all the keys or whatever, and I would always get
Okay,
stuck on the last one.
okay. So, with, SBO and them,
Mhm.
I have followed a fucking walkthrough on I think it's the second part of the haunted castle or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
I followed a walkthrough and I cannot find the last key or whatever it is I need. It's not there.
I did find it eventually, but it took me like 2 hours to find it.
Like, I
Even
think
with a walkthrough, it still took me 2.5 hours to
I'm
find
so
it.
tempted to, like, hook my Wii U up and just, like, start playing that now and be like, "I can beat this. I can do it. I am a full-grown adult."
I would when like the boss battle at the very end with Metal Sonic,
Mhm.
whenever you play that, like, I was sweating the first time I got that far.
Especially even as a kid, knowing how jank some of the jump controls, like, when
I
you would change
know.
rails,
Yes, I hate that. And you
I would
die over
always
some bullshit.
and I got to where I would always, even though it was, like, a speed part, I would have, like, Tails or Cream,
Mhm.
whoever I was playing as, because I was like, "I'm gonna fuck this up. I have to be able to fly to save my ass."
I know, yeah, same.
You know it's bad when you're a dumb kid and you're just like, "Uh-uh."
The game is so fun though. I still have it. I play it every once in a
Oh,
while.
I have every game I've ever owned except for my Sega games, because my Sega it was a yard sale one, so it was, like, half broke already.
I think I have all of the Sonic games for GameCube that ever came out, pretty much.
Okay, so I had, Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Oh, I love that game. The original one?
Uh-huh.
The original's the best one. Changed my
I
mind.
think it's the original, I'm not sure.
The GameCube one?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the original.
I don't like Smash Brothers Brawl. I can see why people like it, but to me, it's just not the same.
Actually, was there a Smash Bros for Nintendo 64?
Possibly, that might have been the first one.
Okay, so Melee would have been the second one.
Yeah, because that was the GameCube one,
The GameCube one is, I think, the most fun out of all of them.
and I think it's the one that, depending on what age group you talk to, if you say Smash Brothers, usually that's the one people refer to, or the Wii one.
The GameCube had so many good games.
The GameCube, like, okay, I gotta say, you know how with newer game consoles, it's like, I have to download this game that you just spent way too much money on. And then it takes up all the space on your thing,
Mhm. We
so
didn't
then you
have
have
to
to
worry
buy the
about that back then.
external. How why do we have to do that? How is there not some system for when there's updates and stuff that it just does that because a file's been created on there for said game?
Because the games were released finished back then. That's why. They actually fucking finished
True.
them.
Like
Nowadays, they're releasing it when stuff's missing and there's not enough
Sonic Boom.
space. Yeah, like seriously. And
Have
back then, all you had was a memory card. Like you didn't
and if
need
anyone
space.
doesn't know how jank Sonic Boom is, just watch Game Grumps playthrough. They
I've
break it
never
in every way possible.
I haven't played it, but I
Oh,
know what you're talking about though.
yeah. That Knuckles redesign was bullshit.
I agree. Did you ever play oh, what's it called? Ty the Tasmanian Tiger for GameCube?
I've never even heard of that.
That is one of my favorite games, and unfortunately, the company, like the developers that made it, went out of business after the third game.
Of
It's a
course.
it's a good series though. Like they had some serious talent behind that. I was so sad. It's kind of like Sonic in a lot of ways, but it's like
Hmm.
unique too, where you go to like different worlds and levels and stuff and collect stuff.
Speaking of going to different worlds and stuff, I love the way Mario 64, how that's set up.
See, I
How
haven't
you go
played
through the
that many
I'm not
Mario games.
I've only played a few, like, I've got both Mario Maker games, which
Hmm.
those are I can see why people like them, but the way people make the levels, it's so impossible to beat unless you're, like, professional at it.
Have you ever played Sunshine?
Yes.
I
I just
love that
couldn't have
game.
get that honestly, I think that is the best Mario game ever. It introduced a new mechanic that fully worked, it aided into the game, the environment, the story was not the world's best, but it was solid,
That
and the
game
whole
that game
world they made,
also is one of the most frustrating Mario games
but in
ever.
a good way.
In a good way. All the
Like,
like
you're
the ones where you're like jumping in space and stuff, like a
yeah, and you're
timed.
just and they place those mushrooms perfectly, and it's like, "No, I got it, I can get this." Like, it's like 4 hours later, and you're like, "I can do this." And
Mhm.
you're just floating on that one life you keep getting.
I think that's like the one of the biggest games that I've rage quit on, where I'm just like, I
I
can't
think
do
the
this.
only I think the only level that really made me rage quit was the hotel one, when you're having to get rid of the manta ray,
Mm.
that comes up on the beach, and it's, like, all electric.
I
That one
I don't even think I made it that far.
that one just makes me so that and the, where you, like, have to look up at the sun and it takes you to that, I think it's, like, Noki, village or something.
Mhm.
Like, it's just nothing but water, and it's like an obstacle you have to climb, or you have to clean the fish's teeth.
Do you know like what I'm talking about though? Like the mini games where you have to run through like an
Mhm.
obstacle course thing?
Yeah, because you get flood taken from you.
Yeah, I hate those parts. I rage quit during those. The rest
See,
of the
that's
game is fine. I can play the rest of it, but
well, yeah, we didn't have the cheat of using flood to keep saving our asses.
right.
It goes back to the whole, "I know I'm gonna fuck this up, let me use the flying character or the flying mechanic to keep saving my ass."
It was usually my controller. Like if you just nudge it a little bit, you just go flying, you know?
I
A trip.
had I had one of those, I still have it actually, uh, where it was one of the first wireless controllers,
Mhm.
and that thing worked perfectly,
Like a
and it
wave
still
bird,
does.
like the gray
Yeah!
ones. Yeah. I have one too.
Why can
It's
they
kind of
not make
kooky.
wireless controllers that can like, someone even slightly steps in front of it, and it's like, oh god, where's the console?" This thing, you could be 3 rooms away facing the
And it
opposite
still
direction from it.
works. Yeah, totally. I don't know. Quality.
Has gone down.
Yeah. I'm really disappointed with like you were saying the newer consoles. Like my PS4 has to update every time I get on it.
And then that's more space taken.
Or the Switch isn't as bad, but I mean the Switch
No.
still has updates too.
And the way the Switch downloads, it really doesn't take up space, it's just like, "Oh, yeah." Like, I feel like the Switch does what I'm wanting consoles to do, at least in my experience, where it's like, "Oh, yeah, we're, like, creating the file for this.
Mhm.
Oh, there's updates here."
There's not a bunch of extra stuff that is on there.
Yeah.
Did you hear that they're gonna put Game Boy games on the Switch?
Yes.
I'm excited.
If they don't I will cry if they don't add Kirby Dream Land, because that is my favorite game.
They should put all the classics on there. That would be cool. Like
Did
the
you
the
ever
old Pokemon
play
games.
did you ever play that, Mario game? It was on Game Boy, and it wasn't Mario 3, it was, like, Super Mario Brothers, but it wasn't one of the first ones, it was a reskinning of a different game, 'cause this had,
Mm,
like, different enemies and stuff, like, you could play as Princess Peach.
I don't
or any of
think
them. It was
so. I
next
don't think
time you're
I've
over, I'll have to like have you play it.
I don't think I've ever played any Mario Game Boy games except for the like porting of the original Super Mario Bros. To like the old Game Boy, the gray one.
Mhm.
That's like the only one I've played for Game Boy.
Mm.
So,
Okay, so for newer consoles, the
well,
Wii.
yeah,
Huh.
we got a Wii. We also had a PS2 that I played Guitar Hero on.
See, I had a PS2. I don't even know why my parents had got me it. I think it was just it because it was during that in between. Like the PS3 didn't exist, but it wasn't like the PS2 was new.
Yeah.
Because I think just a handful of years later, like the PS3 came out. But I got that, and my dad took me to this. Like they did game resales, but they mostly sold games just at a lower price.
Hmm.
Because it was literally floor to ceiling. Like games were actually on the floor, stacked up too, of just video games.
The Wii was cool too, but I feel like they didn't use its full potential.
Mhm.
Because we got a lot of stupid games that came out for that.
But uh before I jumped to the Wii, because it reminded me with the PS2,
Hmm.
that's where I got into Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I was about to
Because
say.
I had got the first 2 games, and it was just like freaking I was like, like my mind opened up,
I
and
still
I've been
need to
hooked
play
on the
that.
series.
I've been wanting to
You
play that.
thought, dude,
They don't have it for the PS4. They have like a remake or like a.
well, where they've remastered the games, you know, fixed bugs, fixed graphics.
But I'm
I've got
confused about like where it starts though, because I wanted to play them in order.
okay, technically there's no correct way to play them in order. Just start with Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2,
Okay.
and if you can do Chain of Memories, that's your first 3 games. And then you've got Kingdom Hearts. So Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 are like the main games.
Okay.
But if and Chain of Memories fills in the space between the first 2, like it's a whole thing I can go on with.
Different episode.
I just talk about Kingdom Hearts lore.
It's on my to play list.
Yeah, just get the 1 point whatever remaster where it's got like the first 2 games.
I feel like we wouldn't have stuff like VR and the Oculus if we didn't have the Wii, you know?
Y- Yeah, I can see that.
Cuz the Wii kind of started that whole like kind of virtual reality like with the bowling and like all the sports and stuff.
Like the potential was really opening up.
Yeah,
But
with
okay, I
motion
feel like with
controls.
the Wii and the DS, like they're just like, "Oh, here's this brain game, color game, stop smoking game."
The
It's like
DS did have a lot of stupid games too.
and it was so hard to find any of the good ones because there were so many bad ones.
Did you have a DS?
I've yeah, I still have it.
Okay, what was your favorite DS game? Just curious.
Shit. Now, I know with the 3DS, uh oh man, I haven't even thought about that system in years.
Neither have I, honestly.
What games did I even have?
Well, my one of my favorites was Sims 2 for DS, like the original DS,
Mhm.
and Nintendogs. Those are like my two favorites.
See, I could never get into games like Nintendogs.
It does get boring after a while, but I liked those. Also the Pokemon games for DS. I had those too.
Like I said, I didn't get into any of those till after me and Brad got together.
Hmm.
Uh, gosh, the only game I can think of that I do like Cooking Mama.
Yeah, my sister always liked that one a lot.
Um, I had Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. That is one of the only that and Kingdom Hearts 3, if I'm being honest, I have not beat. I've because the janky flow motion controls for Dream Drop.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Now, I had this Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland game, and it was almost in like a Tim Burton art style,
Hmm.
but it wanted you to scan colors for certain things, but it wouldn't register colors correctly.
I feel like there was a lot of games that had really janky controls for the DS. Also
And
the
I feel,
Wii too, though.
yeah. Well, with that Kingdom Hearts game too, though, I feel like there was just so much going on, like, because it's been ported to where you can play it like on with one of the remasters,
Hmm.
and people say it does a lot better on there. So,
One of the worst Wii games I ever played was Sonic Riders Zero Gravity for Wii.
really.
Yeah, so the original Sonic Riders for GameCube, I'm awesome at. Like, I love that game, no problem. The second one, I'm sure it's better on PS2, but I've only ever played it on the Wii, and I couldn't even play it because the controls were so bad.
Is it safe to assume you've never played Sonic and the Secret Rings?
I actually have, but it was like briefly, and it was on my friend's system.
That game is horrible.
Jank.
Beyond. And then Sonic, I love the ideas of this Sonic storybook series that they had for this.
Hmm.
I feel like if it was an idea they revisited now, it could work.
Or just
If you
not on the Wii. Like, do a different system.
Because
Because
what they
the
did with those
motion
games,
control.
they just suck.
Yeah. Well, in Sonic, the Zero Gravity game, like, I couldn't even figure it out to even try to attempt to play it. I literally just kept trying, rage quit, and then just never played it because it was just impossible. Because you had to, like, match it up with what the screen was telling you. I could never do it. Like, if you know how to play that game, anybody out there, good on you, because I don't know how to do it.
Now, did you ever play any of the Just Dance games?
No.
Okay, I have like all of them except for like the newer ones that have came out since the Switch has been out.
They always looked fun. I'm just not really into dancing, but
Neither am I, but these games are really fun. Like I even had a thing where I would get the online ones too, which I don't think I have access to them anymore, but
mhm.
there was a lot of like they're really fun.
I like Beat Saber. I've been playing that on Oculus.
Oh, I don't know an Oculus.
It's got a little bit of dancing,
Hmm. Lot of arm swishing.
arm swishing.
I mean, that's mostly what Just Dance was just moving your wrist, but it was about the spirit of pretending the motion control worked for actual dancing.
I think the Switch is my newest console that I have. I'm not really, other than my new PC, I'm not really planning on buying any more consoles. Unless something comes out that I just have to have.
That's usually how it goes.
Well, I'm not the type of person that just like, you know, drops hundreds of dollars on a new console just because.
If I'm being honest, I feel like game consoles shouldn't cost as much as they do. Like,
You also shouldn't have to pay to use internet for online play either.
and then there's the whole like, again, why do I have to use up all the game's storage for 3 games? So I have to buy another stupid hard drive
Or
for it.
delete one save file and make room for another one.
Especially when the games do those auto saves, but they make separate saves and you don't know it.
Yeah, I hate that.
That is bullshit and that should be illegal.
But the thing about the online play, like, it really doesn't make sense to me because PC players have had free online play
Yeah.
forever. Why can't console?
Yeah, and that's something I hate about a lot of new games since, like, PlayStation 2 and all that, or not PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3.
Yeah,
Excuse my stupidity.
I love all the classic consoles cuz we didn't have to deal with that bullshit back
But
then.
here's my thing, it's like your internet goes out, you may or may not be able to play your game because so much of it has to do with Wi-Fi for
That
some
is
reason,
so valid. Yes.
even though it's not a multiplayer section, or they rely so more on the multiplayer online aspect part, when you just wanna play your stupid, like, football, soccer, whatever
Exactly.
game,
It's like I
or
paid for
Call
it.
of
It should be
Duty.
there.
Like, unless it's
Yeah.
the type of game where it's like, this is made specifically for, like, online
Online
play, like
play. Yeah.
like Fall Guys, that's something you get on the PlayStation Store or whatever. Like, that's very much a you cannot play it alone, you know that going in. People buy the newest Call of Duty. I'm not into it,
Neither am
but
I.
I know my brother likes it,
But
and
the
it's like
point is that the game should be ready to play after I buy it. I shouldn't have to
and you should
download.
be able to play it during a thunderstorm or whatever when your
Mhm.
internet's down.
Or out in the woods.
Exactly.
I know.
Like, that was, like, the big thing, like, you get together for slumber parties or your friends come over and you're all hanging out and you play games. You shouldn't have to worry about, "Is my internet working? Is this part of the game gonna work when trying to play with my friends?"
Right?
Games have, like, gotten so much better, but also extremely so much worse at the same time, and the pay to win aspect has gotten out of control.
I agree. It's all like a cash grab.
Like, I expect that shit from mobile games, but
Like
come on.
microtransactions, that kind of thing.
Like, it's one thing where, like, I know my husband plays, like, Apex.
Mhm.
It's one of those fighting games. Again, that's one where you just fight online. I don't think it has, like, a single player thing.
Yeah.
That's expected. But you can also, like, set up where you can play in a party where you're with your friends. That's a good idea. And if you want to try and get equipment and stuff, which it's mainly character skins or characters, but nothing is gonna make you like, "Oh, I dropped $200 on this. Now I can kick everyone's ass." Like, no, your character just may look cooler.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be where people like, that may be the only game that person can get for that year, and then them not be able to enjoy it because some jackass can afford to buy all the cool gear. I think games have gotten way out of control with that.
I agree. Well, it's all for money.
But still,
Well, no,
that's
I'm
what
saying
ruins
that's what
companies.
sucks about it. Yeah. But okay, so what have you been playing lately, or like what's your favorite game lately?
I got so heated I had to get a drink.
It's okay.
Lately,
Yeah,
well,
you've been playing anything?
Raft, um, been playing Clue online with friends. uh, and Phasmophobia. I haven't been doing too many console games. I get on Animal Crossing once in a while.
Yeah, me too. I check Animal Crossing like every other day.
I check it maybe once a week, if that.
I would have to say though, my favorite game right now that I never get tired of is Dying Light. I've been playing the crap out of that game.
Hmm.
I'm getting ready for the sequel when I get my new computer, and I've just been playing it like every day pretty much.
I can't wait to start playing Phas with you.
I just love zombie games. Like I've always been a fan of even back in the day when they had like those zombie shooter arcade games. I think that
So
was a
I'm
Sega
I'm guessing
game.
you played stuff like Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2.
Yes, absolutely. I love those. I've never played the Call of Duty zombie game, but I love zombie games. I'm always down for some zombie shooting. But what I like about Dying Light is that it's not a first person shooter. Like there is guns in the game and you can use them, but it's mostly like a melee. So like you
Mhm.
customize weapons, you build a weapon and then you kick ass with it, and I like that.
See, that's pretty cool.
I love it.
My favorite games now it depends on the graphics of the game, cuz that's my problem. A lot of games how they do the graphics or with the camera when it turns,
Yeah.
I get motion sick even with motion sickness settings on. So, but I like third person like how Kingdom Hearts is or Sonic games usually are.
Yeah, Sonic games do get a little too motion sickness y.
Yeah, see, I've not had that problem with motion sickness with Sonic games,
I
but
mean
with
like the newer ones that are like
like
really fast.
I say I've not really played any of the newer ones.
I don't know.
I think the newest Sonic game I played was Sonic Unleashed.
Same. I was just about to say I haven't played anything newer than that, honestly. I just haven't
I mean,
been
look at what
interested.
we've been getting.
Yeah. Actually, no. I bought Sonic Forces, but I stopped playing it.
Uh,
I played it
that
for
was
like a
the
day and then I was like,
that,
whatever.
that game was just to create your own persona, insert
Basically,
character.
basically, your own Mary Sue. Yeah. Oh, there's something else I was gonna say. Oh, one of my other favorite games I haven't played in a long time, but it's like a guilty pleasure for me,
Hmm.
is the Shadow the Hedgehog game for GameCube,
Yes,
the GameCube version,
I
and
love that.
also Alien versus Predator for Xbox. I really like that game too.
Never played it.
You kind of just like go around as the alien and kill people.
Sounds like your kind of game.
Yeah, I like being the monster. It's fun.
I love games that have the way Shadow the Hedgehog was set up, where you got different paths, but it all unlocked more to one story.
Yeah.
That and you could actually visually see the board too at the end.
Yeah, and see like your layout and stuff, your choices.
I feel like that's such a missed opportunity in a lot of games.
Yeah, choice driven stuff.
Like I know they've got some now, but a lot of times it's just the illusion of choice.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Where it's like, oh, yeah, keep doing this and you'll save this character. Plot twist, no, this character actually dies and there's nothing you can do to save him.
Telltale. They went out of business though, so whack whack.
Can only imagine why.
Oh, they were a shit company to their employees, but
I
I
can
was,
think of a few game companies like that.
I was gonna say too, another one of my favorites of like the older generation is the Jaws game for PS2.
What? You liking a Jaws game?
It's hard. I have never beaten it. It's very difficult, but it's one of my favorites for obvious reasons.
I I feel like whenever next time you come up here to like stay, like you need to stay the night, like a night or two at my place, and we just need to play classic games.
For real. I would love to. They tried to make like a not like a reboot, but like a reimagining of the Jaws game called Maneater.
Mm.
It came out on the PS4, I think like a couple years ago. I played it for like 30 minutes and I was like, this is not as good as the Jaws game. Just saying. You're
You'll have to
supposed to
try
like,
playing Raft with us.
oh, I love Raft. Yeah.
I'm
I've
sorry, but you will have to help kill the shark.
I've only played it like once, but I like watching people play it. It's funny.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: there'll be no sitting back and watching when you play Faz with me,
I know.
and I'm gonna make the ghost go after you.
I know.
You
Mm.
gotta learn. You gotta learn when to trust what I say and when to be able to call out my bullshit.
We still need to play Minecraft sometime. I just get
Yeah,
so busy all the time.
I Minecraft's one of those where I get motion sickness because of the graphics.
I gotta be in the mood to play Minecraft.
Same,
Otherwise, it's boring.
exactly. Or it's just like, wow, I did the thing.
I remember when I first showed my dad Minecraft, he was like, "Why do you like this game? The graphics suck." I was like, "Dad, it's not about the graphics, it's about the journey."
And I feel like Minecraft's one of those games that proves like you don't have to have the latest like, wow, this character looks like they just stepped into reality and
Yeah.
all this and like look at how many popular indie games that have just a stylization or it's like, yeah, this is a human, but they're not going for like it's realistic proportions and stuff, but they're not going for like
Graphics don't make a game. You need all the
yeah.
elements.
I mean, like oh, what's
You need the story, you need the mechanics, you need the graphics. Like it all works together.
and I feel like we need more creative games like enjoy that burp. Like Cuphead, like I know the DLC for that just came out.
I've never played it, but I know what it
I've never
is.
played it either, but like that hard work that they put into that, like it shows. And all these different games, like you can tell which ones have the actual hard work and passion put into them and not just the all right, ship it off to stores.
Yeah.
Like I feel like have you heard the stuff about like the game Hello Neighbor?
Yes. Yeah. I
I get that
remember when it dropped, like the first like beta and stuff came out.
and
They
it
just
looked like
broke it.
like, it had such great potential, and it looked like it could have been a great game, but
People have even said if you want to play the game, play like the earliest beta cuz
mhm,
it's better than what
the
the
alpha.
final yeah, the final product was. That's sad.
Like, okay, I keep going back to Phasmophobia. It's been in development like, it's not even a fully released game, it's still technically in beta, and it's been over a year, and they just now added a extra person onto their team, so now, other than the person who created the game, they have 3 people, also working on it. But, like, if you look at that game, like, you can tell the hard work and passion put in it.
Do you
They're
ever
not just like, "Hmm,
sorry, off kind of off topic, but I wanted to say this before my thought leaves.
hmm."
Um do you ever play any mobile games?
I've tried, but I think the only actual mobile game on my phone's BitLife, and I never play it.
Yeah, I was just curious because, like, I know some people are, like, really into mobile games, but they're all the same, you know?
It it's all just ad after ad after ad, or you, pay to win, pay to play.
There's only, sorry, I was yawning. There's only two mobile games I've ever, like, actually liked Pokemon Go and this zombie game that I can't remember the name of, but you basically, like, complete tasks and you can, like, change your outfits and your weapons and stuff
Like, I
and
used to
build
play
your
more mobile
base.
games, but the way they've gotten now, and like, I used to play Candy Crush, like, simple games like that, they were fun for passing the time, but for me, it's one of those once you get so far into the game, it just becomes more frustrating.
I used to play Bubble Pop, which is basically like a lot of
Mhm.
other Candy Crush knockoffs.
A a game I played
Or
once,
Bejeweled.
and I cannot find it because it's one of those games you could get to put on your, computer back before, like, computer games were really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Chuzzle, and it was these cute, fluffy things, but you would move them, and you'd have to match 3 or more, and they would, like, just explode in fluff, but it was so cute and fun, and just the noise, it, like, hit every part of my ADHD brain that was just like, "This game is perfection,"
Yeah.
and I cannot find it anywhere to actually download it without giving my computer cancer.
I remember like when the first, this will make me sound old, but I remember when like the very first app games were coming out for like iPod and stuff, like
Oh
before
god, I feel old.
iPhone was a thing, you know?
Back when you had iPod to listen to music and then your phone was for texting
I
and
had this
stuff.
I had an iPod Nano that had this really fun pinball game on it. I miss that because it's not on the iPhone. I also had an iPod Touch,
Mm,
and I had an app that had a pet great white shark.
of course.
That was fun. It would like break the glass and stuff.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I have this, which this is the one I still use. It's a blue, touchscreen one, but it's, like, not like a tiny nano, but it's a little bigger.
A
Cause
shuffle?
this one ki yeah, it's not like a shuffle, it's bigger.
Oh.
This was a part of the last generation of iPods that were out before they just got rid of them.
I can't remember. There's been so many.
Yeah, this is around when it was like, "Here's a different one, here's a different one. We're not making them now." Because the one I had before that was the kind where it had, like, the little camera on the back, but it was on, like, the bottom.
Well, because, I mean, an iPhone can basically do the same stuff that an iPod can.
I mean, I keep my iPod because it's got a lot of old music I listen to, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't always remember, like, songs that I like to listen to, so it's like, "Oh, yeah, this was music I'd listen to," and I just listen to it for hours.
mm, we're old.
Mhm. I mean, there's probably people out there who don't even know what an iPod is.
That's sad.
That scares me.
I remember when the first iPod came out. It was a white stick. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was a white stick with a USB thing on it. And my friend had one and I was so jealous. It was like a fancy MP3 player basically. But
Yeah.
anyways.
I think we grew up with some of the best games and some of the best technology.
I agree, and you know what? I wouldn't change a thing. I'm glad I was born in the 90s and I got to see the evolution of technology as we know it.
Yeah, because now we can sit back and be like, what the hell is going on?
I'm still pretty tech savvy. Like I might not know every new thing
I
that
mean, I'm,
comes out, but
I mean, I like to think not quite tech savvy, but I can figure things out.
yeah, me too.
I mean, just sitting back being like, why are they doing this to this
Oh
item?
oh yeah, there's a lot of that too.
Like, that's what I mean when sitting back and just going like, why?
Being sassy.
I am burping a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Hope
I it's
hope the
like
people are enjoying.
it's like what Vesper said that one time. You guys give me gas. That was one of the best things they ever said.
Oh, so Vesper and Ree had came over to my family's for 4th of July.
Oh lord.
Vesper almost got hit by a firework.
Oh no.
They were sitting in a chair on the and one of the fireworks caught fire and it misfired and you just see a ball of flame go on the ground right next to, and we
Vesper,
both jump
no.
up and we just look at her and it like pops like in front of the face of the people sitting in the back and we're just like, so that happened.
Don't you know wolves don't like fireworks?
Hey, I only gave the invitation.
Poor pupper.
And Bree was unfazed by everything.
Oh yeah. Don't even get me started on Ree. We her dad almost killed us driving to GFM the first time and she wasn't even looking. She wasn't even paying attention. I'm like, "We almost hit a semi. Did you not notice that?" She was like, "No, I was reading a book." I'm like, "Okay."
Okay, people who can actually read a book
In a
in a
car that's
car,
going 90 miles an hour, yes.
I mean, just in a car in general when it's moving, I can't even look at 2 sentences without getting sick.
I who reads in a car period?
True.
I'd rather like be on my phone or play a game or something.
I mean, I almost died on the way back from when we got fireworks. Well, okay, so there was one of
Just
those
leaving
big
the
R
house is a trip for me.
well, we were driving back on the interstate in my husband's car. Now, you've seen his car. It's nothing, big and fancy. It's just a nice little car.
Uh-huh.
And there's this RV next to us. So we're in the left lane, the RV's next to us, and we're like at the side of the road. So we're like far left. And the RV has a trailer uh, that it's pulling.
Oh.
And all and I kind of am I'm sitting in the back seat because my dad's in the front seat with my husband.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just sitting there and I look at this RV. And right as I say, "Hey, we should get ahead or behind them. I have a bad feeling." The RV starts merging over quickly.
No.
And my husband tries to hit the gas to get ahead of it. It's just moving quicker. We're hitting the horn and everything, and they ain't stopping. So
Mm,
we start hitting the brakes, and we're moving like we're almost in the grass. And if we'd have hit that grass, we'd have flipped
oh my
because
god.
we were going like 80 miles an hour. And it came, like, not even an inch from, like, hitting the side of his car.
Dang.
I'm just like, "Oh, we almost died."
Driving here in the city's crazy.
I will never live in a city.
I've almost died. I mean, I literally have seen my life flash before my eyes at least twice.
Only twice.
I laugh, but it's only because I'm alive. Yeah, at least twice. So, yeah, I thought I told you the story, but
You
I
might have.
I was
I'm just
merging.
forgetful.
I was trying to like get into another lane, and this dude acted like he was gonna let me over because it was kind of a merge. It was weird, and I had my signal on, and he acted like he was gonna move, and then he speeds up and almost hits my car, and
Sounds like something that happened in Carbondale.
he was so close to my car I could have reached out and touched his car.
You could have just reached out and caressed him.
For real. I was like, what? People don't know how to merge here. That's a whole nother
People don't know how to
topic.
drive.
Yeah. I feel like they need to have a retest every 10 years.
Yeah,
But especially old people. Old people should have to retest.
definitely.
It's a hazard. Like, you're gonna kill somebody.
I had a client who drove into sh even she was like, "I don't know what happened," and she was in her car, and she just managed to plow into a gas station,
Hmm.
like, car half parked in the building. I'm like,
Jeez.
"How?"
I don't know.
She still has her license,
Oh man, that's scary.
and she's done that twice.
I think that's a good place to end this episode. We'll keep you wondering where she is now. um thank you guys so much for listening. If you have any um any video games that you want to share that you like, leave a comment down below and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.